All right, we're live, man.
All right.
Welcome to Meet the Staff Mondays, brought to you by Pureit Bowling. Glad to be with you today, and pretty excited for my guest today. Much bigger name than some of those schlubs I've had on lately, like Parker Bone, Shannon O'Keefe. Name dropping a few. But we got to get to the real bread and butter here, and invite some of the locals here to come on. And I'm pleased to have one of my good friends here tonight, who happens to be on Pureit Pro Shop's staff, Mr. Dominic Mottillo. So, Dom, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's a little different this week. The last few weeks we've been having pretty much just Brands of Brunswick national staffers, a couple regional staffers, but we wanted to mix in and put some names and faces to some of the local staff around here that represents my personal brand with Pureit Bowling, and is out there on the lanes and can obviously answer questions. Primarily about the brands I represent under the Brunswick family, but any other ones we can answer as well. So thought it'd be a good first step here to have Dom come on and just kind of ad lib, ask him a couple questions, learn a little more about Dom himself and what his background is in terms of the bowling game. So looks like we're having quite a few people already jump on here, Dom. So you must be pretty popular.
Yeah,
Rocky
I'm kind of a big deal.
already saying, good evening for the night, Rocky. Hope you're doing well. We got some new balls coming your way here real soon, my friend. But again, Dom, welcome. So why don't we start off with a little bit of background on yourself? Just like I said to some of the girls that were on, I'm not asking you how old you are, but what I am asking is kind of like what got you into the sport. What is your background in terms of where you grew up, where you did some of your bowling along the way, and your journey here.
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in northwestern Pennsylvania, up near Lake Erie, and my dad got me into the sport when I was 5. Got me my first ball. It was Columbia Light Dot, one of those blue sparkly ones. I'll never forget it. Was like I was just completely over the moon, like ridiculous amount of joy when I saw that bowling ball in the box. It was so cool, and I haven't put one down since. I mean, it's been I'll I'll age myself. It's been more than 35 years now since I got that ball, and it's taken me to a lot of great places with this sport. I've bowled all over the country, Canada, bowled in college. That was one of the most incredible experiences ever. And funny enough, I never even shot an honor score until I got into college, and it was in St. Louis of all places. I'll never. That was where I had my first 300 game in Olivet Lanes. So,
Wow.
so never even had one in my home center growing up.
Right. What was your home center growing up?
It was
So,
called
like you said,
Plaza Lanes in Meadville, Pennsylvania.
Meadville, Pennsylvania. I think is that where Alan Femley bowls out of, I believe, still.
Yeah, Alan Felmley, his dad, his parents used to own Plaza Lanes, but I actually
Yeah.
bowled there before it was owned by his parents. It was owned by another family, really good friends of mine, and unfortunately, when I was in college, it had been well. Actually, I think I was in high school actually when the original family sold it to Alan's parents, and then when I was in school, it had burned down. But his mom and dad rebuilt it. I mean, didn't take long at all. They were right on it to rebuild it, and it's a really nice place. Unfortunately, they don't own it anymore. But another family in the Meadville area owns it. Another bowling family, so they know the sport. They love the sport, and it's still a really nice place. They get great league turnout. They do some really good tournaments there. So it's a pretty good place.
Good, good. And you keep talking about kind of that collegiate career. So I know you did a little bowling in college,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe you did your bowling at Robert Morris out of the Pittsburgh area, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. So, different than the Robert Morris we've heard a lot in the past couple of years, the national championship runs, but definitely know a few of the gentlemen as well that went to school with you there, and I know the campus pretty well from a
Yep.
buddy I graduated with. So, talk a little bit. I mean, how was from a collegiate standpoint? We got a lot of the youth that are always getting involved in the sport, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel personally the collegiate programs on the essentially the guys side and the women's side just open up a ton of opportunities and really promote, teamwork and thing. And the thing I like about that is probably how, Dom, you landed here on staff with us at Pure Bowling, and it's that teamwork mentality.
Yep.
So,
and I mean, that's exactly like the team atmosphere in college bowling is so different than anything else. It is a ridiculous amount of energy, enthusiasm, communication. Like you don't, I mean, unless you're on some pretty elite league teams, you don't really have that communication piece. It's there. You're there to have fun and eat some eat some pizza, drink a beer or two, and that's what it is for a lot of people, which is fantastic. It gets them in the center, which is the most important thing. But the collegiate bowling atmosphere is just completely different, and something that I did not even expect going into it because nobody in my area had ever bowled in college. At least not that I knew anyway.
Right. So, it's kind of funny you say that, people love to get together, drink beer and bowl. I mean, it's not a secret. You and I both bowl league tonight, and we're going to call this an elite team since you used the word.
Yeah, kind of what I was getting at.
Let's fig jam a little bit here. Last year, we bowled a 4-person league together on Monday nights. Truly enjoy ourselves. And we were part of something pretty special last year where we put up the National High Series for 3 guys and a female on a 4-person team. Dom, do you remember what that number was?
Oh, I'll never forget it. 3,051.
3,051 for a 4-person team. So that was definitely a fun night. And I guess the reason I'm bringing that up is, we talk a lot about bowling and teamwork and things like that, and having fun, and all those things need to go together. No matter what level you're bowling at, remember why we love this sport as much as we do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stay here and tell you that I don't have a couple beers and stuff while I'm bowling. I call them swing looseners. So we've adopted that on a Monday night where, we try to get there a little early, get that swing loose with a nice frosty beverage, and just have fun with the game. I think it's important, as we're talking about, teamwork and being around the right people, is that we need to take a step back sometimes and really truly enjoy this game, because in its purest form, I don't know of a better game, in my opinion, that I would rather play. There's a lot of negatives that float around about this sport, but for me, the positives always outweigh that. So, I look forward to it. I know you do too as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kevin will probably beat us there tonight, and but we'll catch up pretty quickly. But we had a couple comments coming through here, and we'll kind of mix some of those in. But one of them was Nicole Walker. Yeah, you can see him too. But let's address Nicole Walker first before we talk about a Graham. But Nicole, yes, it was great to bowl next to you yesterday. I know you were off to the left and got to bowl with, I believe, Dom. Who else was on your pair, Dom? DJ was on your pair.
Nicole was to my left.
She was to your left. Okay.
Yeah, she was to my left. My pair was a couple of, right next, like just close to us. I mean, we had the legend. We had Frankie May on my pair. Like that guy's, he's incredible. And I mean, a super nice guy too. So, and I get the pleasure of seeing Frankie just about every week. Well, at least every week that I'm at leisure. So,
Frankie's part of the Hammer family. So obviously, connected to the same brands that namely fly out of our building, and pretty close here, 20 minutes down the road, been around the game forever. So I know I saw his son in the background a little bit there watching Dad bowl, so that was pretty cool to see that as well. A couple other questions here. Do we want to entertain Ryan Graham? And Ryan Graham wants to know if you like urethane or short pin layouts. I mean, he's going to be a troll, so you might as well answer his question.
So urethane does have its place, but not on a 42-foot house pattern at a specific center in Effort of Pennsylvania.
On wood.
On wood.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that pair is still tight from a month and a half ago when Ryan threw that ball in the right lane. So.
Yep. But yeah, no, urethane. I'm never gonna hate on it. It's got its place, but I do personally prefer a short pin reactive layout.
Right. And, and I'll flash one up here on the screen because there's good questions always come through. And Dom, you and I talk pretty frequently. Dom is what I refer to as kind of a student of the game. And he's really trying to learn more about the technology side of the game, understanding the impacts of layouts and surface preps, and what the numbers on a bowling ball mean. But Brandon asks, good question here too. What's your favorite length sport pattern, shorter or longer? So before you answer that, I mean, if I'm going to describe Dom's game, Dom is we would refer to him as being a little spinny. Okay, so he's a little spinny through the front part of the lane, but his bowling ball retains a ton of axis rotation down lane. So his bowling ball has no problem getting through the front, and he can make some hockey stick reactions down lane. So knowing that, Dom, what do you like more, shorter or longer patterns?
Yeah, I like longer patterns. That's no secret. I mean, anything that is like if you get to 42, 44, even the 48 and 50-foot patterns, I'm not afraid of those at all. I really like those longer patterns, even heavier volume patterns, because they allow me to really kind of straighten out my angles and use a big ball with a big motor that I oftentimes have a lot of trouble with on something that's shorter or lighter volume.
Right. And, something we've talked through a couple times here. And, as you're learning, we obviously we bowl league on the same team, and we bowl in a center that's very high friction. And, we talk through things a lot. And, we had a conversation probably about a week or two ago about, needing to use more surface, and, the light bulbs go off, and understanding how we get bowling balls to essentially slow down or burn off energy early to kind of, mellow out and blend the middle of the lane. And, when we're doing that, and you do that as a team, and you do that together, and you break down pairs evenly the way they should be, you can make them pretty easy. And that's what equates into higher scores. I mean, you look traditionally at the teams that are always up in the top 10 and top 20 at the US BC Open Championships. It's not because they're all just great bowlers. It's because there's great communication. They understand the lane play, they understand the bowling balls, and they work together on their moves. Something we definitely do. So to give an example, we bowled last week, right, Tom? We bowled on a pretty challenging pair last week. We had a right lane that was pretty tight down lane in front of the head pin, and then we had a left lane that literally felt like it was stripped. And
I think it's still burning. I think I can still smell the smoke.
But the thing that I took away from last week is the last game, I saw something on the right lane, and I said to Dom coming back, I kind of I believe I tripped the 4-pin out off of a move. And I said, Dom, I said, I threw that good. I said, I threw that really good. I said, you got to move off of it. Dom makes the move. And to make a long story short, we communicate that with the rest of the team, and we rattle off a team 23 bagger, right? 23 straight. And I think the last game last week, we bowled 10-29 for 4 people. So another, monster game, another one that, will qualify for a USBC award during the year. But quite impressive. And just again, a testament of teamwork, talking, understanding the ball motions, and learning together, because that's really what this is all about, and this is really what we're on here for, right? Why are we talking to everybody right now? We want to meet Dom, we want to know what about Dom, but Dom is also one of the guys that's going to be here to answer your questions. If you have some, feel free to definitely approach him, and I guarantee you, if he doesn't know the exact answer or wants to bounce something, he's going to reach right out to me, or have you reach out to me, and we're going to talk through it together, because that's how this works. It's all about, one smaller family here, and essentially making everybody around us better. But another one up here, Bob Moran. He's going to say, what's up, fellas? So let me give Bob a shout out. Bob is a staffer from down around the Philadelphia area, does a lot of his bowling down areas and Jersey area. And Bob came up just short of the national high average last year. I think he finished off the league right around 250 or 251, which is sick. All he does is strike. So I thought it was a great idea yesterday to bowl Bob for $10 the last game. And I lost. And I was very humble about it, because immediately I said, hey, let's get some action going in the last game. Bob said, yep, I got it, whatever you want. So it was a fun little back and forth. He did smoke me, I think, 240 something to my blistering 2-0, but it was a lot of fun, and good to see him on the lanes and getting out and supporting a local tournament yesterday. Brett Schick had one here for you, Dom. He's asking you, what is your favorite bowling ball of all time?
Oh wow, that's a really tough one. I would say favorite ball of all time is probably my original Mastermind. Um, I had that right when it came out, and I really rattled off a lot of high sets with that ball. Can't believe I never shot 300 with it, never shot 800 with it, but I averaged 237 for a league for a season, never shot an honor score with it. I don't know how that happens.
Interesting. I mean, I know you
Yeah.
got a lot in the arsenal right now, but if you like that ball, I may drop you a hint and tell you might want to drill an Omni. It's close.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I probably have some room in there for it.
Yeah, filling out a bag. Terry asked a question. Not really sure how this went. A lot of people say that lefties don't move. How do you handle having another left-hander or multiples on the same pair? So Dom is a right-hander. But if you have multiple, let me take this one, Dom. If you have multiple lefties on a pair, Terry, all you lefties have to do is wait for the pattern to come to you. Just ask DJ. I told him yesterday. So 10-5 will eventually be there. Just be patient.
Yep.
250s. I'm busting you guys. I don't have anything against left-handers. We just like having a little fun with them. But there definitely was no left-hander in the field yesterday that feet were deeper than 16. And that was after 6 games. So that must have been enjoyable, guys. Terry, if you have multiples on your pair, I would honestly go out and, in all seriousness, think that you guys might have even more problems. And the reason is I see so many left-handed players, because they play 10-5, are now migrating, even in league, to using nothing but urethane. And while there is nothing wrong with urethane bowling balls, there's a time and a place for them. But when you destroy the front part of the lane on yourself, and you're going to have to stay on that pair and not move to another pair after that game, at some point it's going to catch up to you. Okay, it's going to get to the point where you shimwreck yourself. You have a good buddy named Matt Pine that did it to himself at a tournament in that said center a couple weeks ago. Matty bowled like 280 or 290 and then bowled 170 the next game because he had choice of pair and picked the one he just bowled 280 on. And guess what? His ball reaction went away. Oh, here's a good one coming in here, Dom. This is probably the question. So, what weird, same last name. What's your plan to get rid of bowling balls you no longer use or want?
Wow. So I've got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 that are sitting in the basement that I don't use anymore. So I tried to sell them. I tried to give them away, but it's all really old stuff that quite honestly nobody wants. So I've got to find something creative to do with them. Maybe if somebody wants to create some kind of garden work with them or something like that, I don't know. But it's so hard to get rid of a ball because believe it or not, there's a little bit of sentimentality with it, especially when it was your first 300 ball or your first 800 ball or your first 700 ball. Like those things are hard to get rid of. But yeah, I've got a handful that I really need to find something to do with.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, getting rid of them is tough. I mean, obviously the other day I accumulated so many at the center that we use for like refits and we gave them away to programs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a post up with a picture and was like, come get them. They're free. And it's not hard to get rid of them. That's all I'm saying. Like literally 60 balls were gone in a matter of like 15 minutes. Like, thank you. You just saved me from having to huff them up the stairs myself and throw them in the garbage. But if you do decide to throw all 8 or 9 of those away at the same time, Dom, let me know because I want to camp out on your front porch and listen to the sound it makes when it hits the garbage truck because those guys are going to jump out of their skin.
Yeah, they're gonna be mad.
So, before we answer any other questions here, so obviously you've been bowling, your whole life, and I know you definitely enjoy, trying to hit some of the local events around here. Even as a player that's been in the game for a long period of time, what kind of motivates you to keep competing, or do you have goals that you still have for yourself? I mean,
Sure.
what drives you?
Well, the drive is just, it's kind of like the approach that I take to work. It's just that trying to get better every single day. Like you're never going to perfect this game. It's never going to happen. It can happen for 12 shots. It can happen for 36 shots. It's never going to happen for your entire life every single time. So trying to just get better, and that's probably the driving factor that keeps me motivated. There's always something to improve upon. As far as goals, I really want to get to a place where I like to think that I'm getting better at understanding lane transition and lane play. It took me a long time to get to that point, and since meeting you the last 4, 5, 6 years, I think that part of my repertoire has vastly improved. But along with that, once I get to a place where I'm comfortable with understanding lane play, I really do want to bowl some bigger events. I'd love to bowl a regional or 2 or 5. I'd like to, I really want to be competitive at nationals a couple times. That would be great. But those are just some of my more immediate goals. As for long-term goals, I think being able to potentially compete in one of the grand stages, the U.S. Open or the Masters, that would just be that. Those are dreams. That would be something that's just completely incredible.
Right. I mean, and it's a dream, and as well. We preach this stuff all the time, especially when we're talking to youth. Like, if you have a dream or you have a goal, I mean, you have to set, what is your path to get there,
Yep.
and you're already taking that path by trying to educate yourself more. You're hitting the local events, and we get asked a lot, Dom. How do I get better at this game? How do I get to the next level? How do I compete? And basically what it comes back to is you've got to bowl.
Yep.
You get out of this game what you put into it. We use examples all the time. For myself, I'm starting to dedicate a little more time to myself, to my own personal game, because like you, I have some goals that I didn't fulfill younger in life because of injuries and life and things in that way. And while I enjoy coaching, at the local level, national level, wherever we're at, and helping people to get titles, I still have that inner drive in me that's left to feel like I got some unfinished business to do. And it's I gotta think about the same message that I'm telling you guys, and we talk about all the time, and that's, you get out of it what you put in. And if you take that to heart, whether it's this sport or it's another sport that you're in, that's going to go tenfold. I mean, that's huge. And so set goals for yourself, and make sure that you do the other thing, which is the checks and balances on it. So if you feel like you're stuck, you've plateaued, or you're not seeing what you want to see, it's time to be self-reflectant and gauge yourself about where are you at based on those goals. And if there's a roadblock, talk through it, work through it, go harder. But couple more questions here. It's so easy to just talk and talk and talk, and obviously you and I can talk for hours. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we do have to go to league tonight at some point. We got some points to win here, and my swing's not quite loose
Not
enough
loosen up yet.
tonight. So
No,
not yet. But Jason Jeffries threw another one up on here. What's in your arsenal? So what's in your bag currently, Dom? What do you got?
So I've got a lot of really great stuff. From an asymmetrical perspective, I have a vintage Vapor Zone, the pearl one that came out a few years ago. Prism Warp, which is just the granddaddy of bowling balls as far as I'm concerned. That thing is just absolutely amazing. It just does not stop. I love it. I have a Deviate Intimidator, and I think that might be it. Oh, and I have a Ludicrous Solid, Radical Ludicrous Solid as well. Mm-hmm. And then from the symmetric side, I have, what's that? I've got an OG Squatch Solid. My new favorite, the Hammer Web Tour Hybrid. The ball is just so unbelievably good.
There may have been 3 of those on the rack for that game last week.
I've never seen a ball that can blend out an overcliffed wet dry pattern like that, and I mean in history. It's that good, and it's so controllable. An absolutely phenomenal piece. What else do I have? I have I don't know. I've got so much I can't remember.
You have another one that you'll definitely be throwing this weekend, and you haven't got a chance to throw yet. But I know you do have an Ebonite arrow in your bag as well now.
Yes. Yep. I am so excited for that. That's I can't wait to see what that ball looks like going down the lane. I can't wait to get a hold of that on Thursday. And then I can't remember really what else I have. Like I said, I got like 12 or 13. Oh, I have a counterattack pearl with a short pin layout that's really great on those short patterns. And I have like like a Brunswick Rhino as well, with a lot of surface on it. So like you said, help slow it down.
Yep. You know, which will answer your question here. So, oops, sorry, Brian. I think that went off the screen there real quick. Brian had asked a question and he kind of just answered it there. So I thought I'd throw it up quick. You know, do you have a ball for the burn or short pattern that you fry up real fast?
Yeah.
And Dom just got, you know, some of those things he just mentioned. You know, he had a short pin counterattack, you know, kind of get the core to spin up, you know, even quicker for Dom and just kind of stabilize real quick with his ball roll. So it's a little lazy down lane. And then, you know, he has a lower end Rhino, but again, going back to the beginning of this this session, you know, we mentioned, you know, surface preps and stuff. And, you know, Dom realized real quick a few weeks ago, he tried to throw it down the lane. The first one he threw with a Rhino on really wet, dry condition, he really aced it and it went through the pins and like, wow, that's it. Well, he threw the next shot and thought he threw it well and the ball snap hooked. And he's like, whoa, where'd that come from? Threw the next one probably just about as well and the ball hit the 3-pin in the face. That, my friends out there, is called over under ball reaction and not utilizing enough surface. So Dom definitely went in there, hit that ball with some surface just to give it a more rounded shape. Not so, you know, radical off the friction, just to give us a more controlled piece and more of the intention. Because remember, there is a time and a place where you use polish and things like that, but it's mainly for shelf appeal, folks. You want to see true ball motion. We pretty much hit most of the covers, not just the two guys you're seeing in front of us, but when you're at a level and you're trying to refine ball motion, those box finishes aren't used very often.
Right.
Brandon just put up Verge Pearl.
Oh yeah,
you forgot one. I mean,
yeah,
how did you forget that one? I mean, Dom. I mean, what do you think of the Verge Pearl? Any success with that one?
Yeah, no, not really. I haven't really done anything with that. Yeah, I mean, out of the box 825, you can't really ask for anything more. I mean,
yes.
I didn't even hit, and I didn't even crack that surface. That was out of the box finish.
Yep, that was out of the box finish, and I lightly brushed mine. Now I did it yesterday. You know, we had some pretty responsive back ends yesterday that needed a little attention, so brushed that down. But yeah, as Dom mentioned, you know, and it's the tale of each week you go into a bowling center. You know what pair you're on too, because you know 2 weeks ago out of the box Verge Pearl, he bowls 825 with it. We go in there to a different pair this past week, and let's be honest with you, the pair wasn't close. So the Verge Pearl was not in play. Much different, trying to you know, control the lane. Whereas the other one, we had great push on that pair the week before, and you know, Dom put up a monster. And personally, I threw it probably equally as well, but he beat me by 100. It's about the bowling. Yeah. So. Scott Schnewer jumped in, said, as a pro shop operator, you can never duplicate the box finish of the factory. That's correct, Scott. We did a whole segment. We talked about that a lot on a couple of our throw-its that, you know, I will go ahead and if a ball is 2000 or something at the box finish, I'm going to hit it with my own 2000 pad because I get a starting point. So we do a lot of that, and it's a very good point to come up. So still got a bunch of people jumping in here, Dom. You know, we're going to have to make them sad at some point. But Mr. Eckenroth jumped in. Good to hear from you, Chad. Hope the bowling game's going well there. Chris Wilson jumped in. I don't know who that is. Chris.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Oh, Gloom and Doom. Gotcha. All right. Tommy Abrams. This is one of the 14 Abrams. What's your goal every time you hit the lanes?
So a lot of people set, you know, I want to hit this score. I want to have this score. I want to have this average, whatever. One simple goal. Have fun. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to have fun. I don't care if I bowl bad or if I bowl great. If I'm having fun, I win.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. Now, tonight's going to be a little different, Dom, because our friend, Mr. Pulisic, you know how he is. He likes to talk a little smack, and sometimes he likes to make little friendly bets. So There's a number. I'm not going to tell you what the number is. Let's just say that I'm going to smoke the number he said I wasn't going to beat tonight, and we're going to have Chipotle on him. So
okay.
Yeah, that's just how it is. I didn't tell him we're on the pair that we put up a monster on, or any of those factors. So, um,
And that's on
we'll
a need to know
definitely have to
basis.
get
He
behind it.
doesn't need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, just a couple other ones in here, Dom. I know you went through your arsenal and things like that, and it's pretty obvious when Dom went through his the rundown of the balls. Obviously, you throwing a ton of the balls from the Brands of Brunswick, and we love to see that because we truly do believe in our product.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you that even before I met Dom, when he first came in, his bag was full of them. So this isn't just the converted. I mean, this is something Dom's been on these brands for a long period of time. He's a big supporter, always asking questions. And I know you love the Radical brand a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably think that might be the favorite. But what maybe is the second favorite right now in terms of those 7 brands?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I would say second favorite. I don't know. It's got to probably Deviate, and then Hammer is like maybe 2B.
Hmm.
Uh, I've had a lot of success with Deviate balls over the years. Um, Never really drilled up a ton of Hammer stuff. I've had a few,
Hmm.
but the like again that Web Tour hybrid, as good as that is, I mean that's as good as I mean if you don't have if you're whether you're a league bowler and don't bowl any tournaments or you bowl a ton of tournaments, you need that ball. It's a simple. I mean that ball is it's so good on everything.
Right. And the reason I asked you that, Dom, is I was trying to, put a puzzle together for everybody here. So, if you remember me saying, Dom is a little spinny, no problem getting the ball through the front part of the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a lot of axis rotation. So those 2 brands he brought up, why he likes, there's a reason behind that. The Radical brands and definitely the Deviate brands are traditionally have always been more of, down lane motion, kind of more skid flip pieces, a lot of energy retention down lane. So aesthetically, they match up with Dom's eye very well.
Mm-hmm.
So we tend to migrate towards shapes that our eyes like to see, and then we can control the front to back movements with surface adjustments. So absolutely, just spot on with an assessment of what you like versus the brand you're actually supporting. And it's no, I'm not shocked at all to see that you like the Hammer Web Tour hybrid so far, because it is such a smooth piece with that hybrid cover stock. And then it's just so good when it sees friction through the pins, just that smooth motion and kind of that controlled piece. So unbelievable ball shapes coming in there. So but Dom, we're hitting almost under the 35-minute mark here. So I don't want to cut you off, but is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have, or that you wanted to share personally with everybody that's tuned in tonight and or will tune in here in the future?
No, I think we covered just about everything that I thought we would talk about. I mean, favorite pieces, what's in my arsenal, all that kind of stuff, and I mean, like you said, the whole reason we do these is for education. Let's talk about the gear that's out there. Let's talk about our experiences and educate everybody. I mean, we all are going to learn for as long as we play this game. You're always learning. Everybody's always going to be learning. I don't care if you're like, I mean, we had Parker on last week, and Parker's still
Mm-hmm.
learning. I mean, yeah, he's a legend in this sport, but um, we're always still learning. So I think that's the biggest thing that you always kind of preach is never stop learning, and that's and stop educating. Don't ever stop
Yeah,
educating.
and you can't do that. I mean, I'll give you just an example of that. I'm saying I'm working on my game as much as I can, and um, on this week on Saturday, I got to cross with Matt O'Grady.
Yep.
Obviously, been a friend of Matt's for a while, and competed, beside him. And so, Matt is always he's kind of seen the trials and tribulation for me with injuries, whether it be the knee, the back, and all those things, and not being able to finish tournaments and the frustration. And you know, I like to think, our cross on Saturday was pretty amazing because we worked together so well that day. And Matt is just he's a shot maker, man. And when we're playing the same part of the lane, the guy won the tournament. And um, us talking back and forth and what we were seeing, and that was a ton of fun. to help each other in there. And then at the end, to get a message from Matt basically saying, you're throwing the ball incredible. You've came, a long way from where you were, and you look really good out there on the lanes, and your time's coming. That's why we're here, folks. We want to do the same thing for everybody else out there too. Eyes and ears, work together. Do this thing collectively as a large family in the bowling community, right? We want to be better. We want you to be better. That's what we're here for. So continue to ask those questions. Dom, thank you for hopping on here. I know busy work schedule. Antsy to bowl here in about an hour and 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, let's see about an hour.
I'm glad to have you on board with us. You are a great ambassador for the game of bowling in itself. Obviously a great friend, and you need to start drinking again. How many more days till the end?
I don't know. Well, this is the beginning of week 4, so we've got 9 more that I'm going to try to get through with no beer. So,
all right,
doing good. Hey,
I'll continue to support you on that journey as well.
I've lost 10 pounds, so it's been good.
That's awesome. I probably found what you lost, but it's okay because I've earned every pound of it. So, but no, it's awesome. I'm just roasting a little bit, but again, thanks for coming on, brother. And if anybody out there has any further questions that maybe they forgot to ask while we were on, by all means, as always, please reach out to us. We'll answer anything we can. As usual, as we're signing off here, support bowling, support your proprietors, be good to one another, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Tune in tomorrow night. Who's our guest tomorrow night, Dom?
Well, tomorrow night is, I think I already forgot. Is it? Oh, it's Tommy Jones. Tommy Jones is on tomorrow night.
That is not memorable at all. See, I told you that Dom was a bigger deal than anybody I'd ever have on the show. So he just proved it there. I mean, other than the fact that Tommy has 20 titles and is a PBA Hall of Famer, you guys are pretty much the same.
Same haircut.
Touche. Okay. Yeah, tune in tomorrow night. We're going to discuss the Ebonite Arrow. Again, new release from the Brands of Brunswick. We'll have 20-time titleist Tommy Jones on tomorrow night to join us here in the studio to talk about the ball. Then we will be jumping on Thursday, where you will get to see Dom in action, probably throwing the arrow. We have a whole bunch of guests that night, which includes district sales manager and good friend of mine, Mr. Dave Wadka. So the slow wheel will be out in full effect on the wood. So make sure you tune in that night to see it going down there. Adam Ishman, if you're on the feed right now, make sure you are trolling that one for sure. Can't wait to hear from you. But I guarantee Dave's going to post the shot. All right. That one will sting Ish a little bit. But all right, gang, long enough here. Dom, I'll see you in a little bit. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in as always. And we'll talk to everybody soon. Bye now.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.